even though I may have shined brighter than them, I would move out of the spotlight and position them in the spotlight that was authentically mine, because I thought that's what it means to be a good friend. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast, where we center the stories of Black women as we heal from the painful relationships with our mothers. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Arnice. Welcome back, loves. Happy Tuesday, or whatever day it is that you are watching or listening to this podcast. I hope you all are doing well. Since it's Tuesday, by the time you listen to this, yesterday was my birthday. And it wasn't the big to-do that it was last year for my 50th. It's just, a little small girlfriend's dinner, low key, but I am grateful for another year. Y'all, if you've been rocking with me since even if you were new this time last year, can you believe that you've been with me a whole year? And for my old heads that's been around since Fuck That Cape, since the book in 2018, y'all really have been rocking with me. So just wanted to mention that your girl is getting I was about to say she's getting older. She's getting wiser. She's getting finer. She's getting more discerning. She's getting more amazing. She's getting more tasty. Okay? Which takes me into the topic of our episode today. And we are piggybacking off of last week's episode where I was talking to you all about unmasking. And today I want to just go ahead and rip the tape off, rip the Band-Aid off for y'all. And we're going to talk about main character energy. The main female character. I don't know if any of y'all are out there are the book girlies. I'm an audiobook girly, but I am a urban romance girly. Okay. And I love, of course, if you know, we love a good main male character, but a main female character, she be doing her big thing. And I want us to be able to experience that in our real life. And this also is where I am right now. Like, unleashing my main character energy. I told y'all last week about some new things and how I'm going to be showing up in my content and in social media and even on this platform here with the podcast. And I decided we're going to just talk about it today. And it feels a little cringy, right? But that's okay. And you'll learn why in a few minutes. Okay. So, having a mother wound, growing up as a Black girl with an emotionally unavailable mother, not feeling safe, our survival, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, but here we go again from another perspective. Growing up, we had to center our mother. She was the main character in our life growing up, right? And because she didn't have autonomy, she couldn't teach us how to have it. And therefore, even as adults, she has remained the main character in our life story. Oftentimes, even if you're not speaking to her often, even if you're no contact, she still might be the main character in your story when you look at your life, when you look at your choices, when you look at how you make decisions and the things that you want and what you believe you've missed out on and what you believe you will never have. It all centers around her. And that makes her the main character. And we have to change that. And I feel like it's a really delicate dance that we're doing because we have been punished so desperately by having her remove her love from our lives, by her rejecting us at a fundamental way, not just rejecting choices and things we do, but rejecting us as a person, right? So it's like, how can I ever center myself if I'm so abominable in somebody else's eyes, right? So this again is it is reparenting, but it's on steroids. And it's how do we become the main character? How do we start to exude main character energy, right? And why is it important? Why is it so important for us to do this work, right? So when we center our mother, and she is the main character, it also teaches us that other people are the main character in our life. So it becomes, our mates, our friends, our kids, our job. Everyone becomes a main character except us, because the basic rule of survival is decenter yourself and center others. Okay? And what that means for us is we end up shrinking, right? We have this concept that we are too much, that we are asking for too much. It creates powerlessness in us, which means we become a victim. When we decenter ourselves and we're not the main character in our own life story, it turns us into the victim. You can only be the hero if you are the main character. Anything else is left by the wayside. Okay. And at worst, we become an extra in our story, right? We become a co-star in our own fucking story. All right. And what this does, it turns us into prey. That means others can hunt us. That means others have authority over us. And we are at the whim of others. And that really plays into what we were taught as children and as girls growing up, that is the way to be. And that if we position ourselves in a submissive perspective in our own story, that somehow we'll be rewarded. Okay. This runs deep if you were also raised in the church, because you are a little more than a bystander in religion, and your only goal based off of the westernized Christianity is to be of service and never to be served. So you can never be the main character, right? Okay. And this was really big for me. I used to call it being a sidekick. Before I started this healing journey, before I had this language and this vocabulary, I somehow agreed on some energetic level to be the sidekick in my friends' lives, right? This is a huge way this shows up. If, like, do you have main character energy or not? And what that meant was, even though I may have shined brighter than them, I would move out of the spotlight and position them in the spotlight that was authentically mine, because I thought that's what it means to be a good friend, to even give in that way, right? Or if there is a situation where I want to say this, it's so hard to talk about still, where let's say, I want to say it's my turn. And sometimes it's your turn. In life, it's your turn for the thing that you want. I would give my turn away to a friend, because that's what friends do. Even if it wasn't their turn or they wasted their turn, and even if they didn't value the opportunity, I would still give it away, because that's what friends do. And in my romantic relationships, it was even worse. I was less than the sidekick. I became the audience member. I let them create the story. I let them position me the way they wanted in the relationship, to perceive me the way they wanted to perceive me based off of the story they had for their life. And I was either in the audience watching, or I was a prop. That's what it means when you don't have main character energy. And it feels to us, because we don't know any better, it feels like love. It feels like being a good person. It feels like being a Christian. It feels like being a good friend. All of those things, because at one point, that's what it felt like to be a good daughter. And we're not doing it anymore. We're just not doing it anymore. Okay. So I have some words written down so we can now transition into what does main female character energy look like? Okay. Because I don't want you to look at me and say, okay, not even just me. Look at anybody that you think has main female character energy and say, well, to be a main female character, I have to be like her. I have to wear my hair like her. I have to have the same personality as her. None of those things, because that's still comparison, right? But these terms that I have here are about authority. They're about autonomy. Okay. We have unapologetic. We have definitive. Definitive means there's an end. There is a line in the sand. I have defined myself. I have defined my experience. I have defined what I want, right? There's a level of certainty when you're a main character. You are unwavering. You are no longer proving. You honor your needs, and you no longer explain or apologize. I left those for the end because those are going to be the two hardest ones to grasp onto and to get the hang of, because we were built for service, which means we're built to find fault in ourselves, which means we were built to apologize. We were built to explain. And because we don't have authority and we've given it to someone else, we have been trained to get their buy-in. And so therefore we shapeshift for a false feeling of community, right? And all of this is self-abandonment. When you are not acting in your power, when you are not behaving and showing up as a main character in your own life, you are abandoning yourself. Period. Point blank, right? So these are some things that need to be released. Okay. In order to step into your main character energy. And I'm going to tell you, I'm working through these at even deeper levels. For y'all that have been doing this work and y'all like, God damn, I thought I had it, but here she is making me go even deeper. I thought I had figured this out. Girl, y'all know this shit don't end. It's never ending. Okay. So just make peace with it and just come on with me, child. So the first thing that you need to release if you want to exude main character energy is shame. Shame blocks feelings of belonging, and you can't be the center of your own world if you think you don't belong there. Okay. And you take you being the center of your own world everywhere you go. It's not just when you're home alone. It's in any environment, you bring that with you. And so you can't have that if you feel as though you are a broken person, because that's what shame does. Shame tells you that you are broken, you are unfixable, and you are excluded. You are not included. You are not welcome. Okay? That will never be the main character. The main character goes to the front of the fucking line. People are waiting on her. She gets in. People call her out and say, ma'am, we want you. You come here this way. Okay? But you can't experience that if you are still wrapped in shame. So you're going to have to let the shame go. You're also going to have to let guilt go. Guilt for what, Jennifer? This had me up last night. Oh, I was going to talk about something else today, but this. Guilt for wanting more. Releasing the guilt for wanting more. More than you've ever had, more than your friends have, more than your family has, more than people around you, and whatever that more is, whether it's more money, whether it's an aesthetic, where you want to live, experiences you want to have, ways you want to feel, relationships you want to experience, whatever it is, all of the above. Whatever it is, releasing the guilt around wanting more, because we were taught to want less. And that's what would make us a good person. We were taught to deny our own feelings and to feel bad for having them, right? And when you have guilt for wanting more, the things that go through your mind are, I'm being selfish, I'm being self-centered, people won't like me if I show up and take more of the pie than people might expect that I should have, right? But this guilt is only another form of self-betrayal. Because how could you, in good conscience, if you love yourself, if you care about yourself, also tell yourself you should not want what you want, especially when you're not trying to take something from someone else and you're not trying to hurt someone? It is this absolutely absurd concept that gets drilled into a lot of us. Again, growing up as a Black girl in the South with the church, it has been totally beat into us, right? And this is probably one of the hardest ones for me. The guilt of wanting more, because then I also don't always trust myself, because it's like, well, once you get it, then what? What are you going to do once you get it? You're never going to be satisfied, and you're just going to turn into somebody who's just greedy. That is a conversation in our subconscious that is not accurate, that was brought on to us because our minds were shaped to beat us into submission and into wanting less. And learning to trust ourselves and say, whatever I want is what I want, and I accept it. There's so much radical acceptance that has to take place with main character energy, because you cannot rely on the perception of others. You have to be so firmly self-perceived that you can't even imagine being any other way than your authentic self, right? It doesn't even work, okay? And so now I want to talk about what you have to embrace, which also kind of coincides with how you begin to develop this main character energy, right? And one of the first things and most important, and I think this is rather fun. Some of y'all, it's going to be scary, but it is expression. In order to have main character energy in your life, you have to be expressing yourself. The opposite of depression is not happiness. The opposite of depression is expression. And expression is playful. Expression is this practice. It means it's curious. It's not critical. You're not trying to get it right. And I know that's so hard for us to hear sometimes, right? We want it to be perfect. We want other people to perceive it as good, when the reality is ownership of ourselves, having our own autonomy and authority, having main character energy is about being expressive in whatever way that is for you. For me, I'm a bold person. I've got blonde twists, platinum blonde, right? I've been dyeing my hair blonde since I was 12 years old. This is a part of my main character energy for me, right? I'm also a bold visual person. I love being the seductress. I love being moody and polarizing and even sometimes controversial. I like putting things in people's faces. That's me. That's who I am. That doesn't mean your expression looks the same. It doesn't mean that it looks the same. So that's why being playful is the way you go about it, because for many of you, this is a discovery process and you have to take it with playfulness so that your inner little girl, she feels safe to explore and to discover who she really is. You have to do this part. And I don't care how long it takes. And it's not something that you need to ask another person's opinion on if they fucking like it. Don't ask nobody shit. This is who you know you are. And really, all you have to do is go back to the 5-year-old version of you. Who was she? Before you were hurt, before you were shut down, what was that energy? I have always loved Wonder Woman and Daisy Duke all my life. They always had a short skirt on. They always had booty shorts and boots and they middle of their stomach showing. I'm 51 years old. I'm still the same fucking way. I'm still wild and free at my core. That is who I am, right? So just go back to whatever that is, because your main character could be a bookworm. She could be somebody who loves a nook and it's quiet and she's got lo-fi music on and she's reading her books. She could still be the main character. So that's the part I want you to know. It doesn't mean bold. It doesn't mean being like someone else. It just means, who are you when you are fully expressed, when you feel joy just with you, when there's like a sense of peace, like, okay, I'm not fighting against anything. And some of you have never felt that because even at the lightest hint of it, you block it, you condemn it, and you judge it. So if you weren't blocking, condemning, or judging, what would come to the surface? And from there, I want you to practice that. I want you to express that as much as you can. And I want you to express it physically. I want you to express it in your makeup, in your home, in the colors you wear, in the music you listen to, in the way you spend your time, in the places that you go. I want you to express it. It cannot be just something you write in your journal or you're thinking about. Okay. Now, some of y'all, that's going to catch y'all off. You know what? And let me tell you this too. For some of y'all might be even bolder than me. And I'm still exploring. I'm still expressing more and more levels of myself, right? Which takes me to another thing that you're going to have to do to embrace your main character energy. You are going to have to find community. You're going to have to find like-minded people who share some of these interests that you have. It doesn't have to be all of them, but let's just pick one, right? You say, hey, I'm going to use makeup. That's an easy one, right? So maybe part of you being a main character is you want to get dressed up more and you want to play more with makeup and you want to be glammed out. Maybe you start going to BeautyCon. You start finding events around makeup or makeup artists or something. It doesn't matter. But to get around people who already are and they're already expressing something that you're growing into teaches your mind that is safe, because you look at other people doing it and you're not calling them absorbed. You're not calling them self-absorbed. You're not calling them self-centered. You're not condoning them. You're not judging them. It's normal. You actually look up to them. You're like, wow, this is great. I want to be like that. Then you realize, oh, I'm stopping myself from that. And then you get around other people and you see that they don't judge you. They don't condemn you. They welcome you. They welcome your perspective. They welcome wherever you are in your journey. That really is healing because it introduces your nervous system to new experiences. It builds your rejection tolerance. You're not so worried about people rejecting you because you have gone to places where you are accepted, and that gives you a confirmation that it's okay. And that's a huge part of healing is having new experiences. That's why this main character energy is so important. It's such a big thing that I want you all to really examine and explore and jump headfirst into, because it's going to expand you. Just by the nature of it, you're going to start to feel safe. But you have to find a like-minded community, because as long as you are in it by yourself, your mind, your trauma-filled mind is going to be lying to you, and you're going to be hearing your mother's voice. You're going to be hearing monkey mind and critical things that are going to halt you and slow you down, right? Even, I'm going to give you a great example about community. Even me sharing with you all the different ways that I want to show up and who I see myself as, I feel cringy saying those things, but I know I'm with people who care about me and who understand what I'm saying. So there's a safety in this conversation. Does that make sense? So everything I'm doing with you all is me practicing it at the same time. So don't think, oh, Jennifer, you have it all figured out. Your girl does not. I'm still in it. And me being in this community, me being a content creator, me having a podcast is how I'm building my own main character energy. Okay? So just use that. Don't think that I'm outside the bounds of this, and I'm just showing you how I do it. You now need to find the ways for you to do it. Because when I started this podcast, it was so I could build my voice. It wasn't, oh, how do I become popular? How do I get on this network? How do I monetize? Or what kind of microphone do I use? No, it was just so I could get used to my own voice. Y'all can go back and look at the old podcast episodes when I first started. Y'all know a lot has changed. So much has changed and it's gotten better, but I had to go through those other 79 episodes to get to this episode 80 for it to be what it is now, right? So just keep that in mind. And, listen, it's important. If you are someone, if you're listening on here, then I know you want more for your life. And you cannot baby step through it. You can never get there to the life you want with the sidekick energy. You're never going to get to where you want to have the life you want. And you're always going to be blaming somebody else if you don't conquer this, if you don't embrace being the center of your own world and everybody else getting in line. Okay? This is it. And I hope that the way I've talked about it today, that it doesn't feel so heavy. Because I know sometimes the stuff I be asking y'all to do, it's like, damn, girl, we don't feel like doing that shit. That shit is sad. It's hard. This isn't. And this really also shows you the joy of life, how you resist it, the good parts of you, the dreams you have, how you resist those also, because you're waiting for someone else to give you permission to do them. And nobody's going to do that. You have to do it. Even I can't even say it because it has to come from you, and it needs to. It's way past due. So I love you lots. I will see you all next week. Don't let nobody play in your fucking face, including you. Bye.